Hey patent friends, welcome back to another video. Coming to you today from Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. I'm on vacation, working remotely a bit, and I want to talk about how do you guarantee that you're gonna get your patent application granted? What are the things that you can do to set yourself up to succeed with your patent application? Stick around, we are starting right now. So for those of you who are new here, my name is Dylan Adams. I'm a patent attorney that represents clients of all sizes, from garage inventors to startups to Shark Tank companies to Fortune 100 companies. I'm also the author of the best-selling book Patents Demystified, which is an insider's guide to protecting ideas and inventions used by inventors, entrepreneurs, and startups worldwide, including at top universities like Harvard, Stanford, and MIT. You might also recognize me from my appearances on CNBC as well. So this channel is all about giving you insider patent information that I use with my clients every day to help them succeed. So be sure to subscribe to the channel, hit that little bell icon as well so you don't miss any important videos. All right, let's go ahead and get right into it. So to start out, let's make sure we're on the same page as far as what I'm talking about as far as the patent process goes. So there's two ways to start the patent process. And what I'm going to be talking about here is starting with a non-provisional patent application. So the non-provisional patent application, that's the formal patent application that you file at the USPTO, has to have the formal description, the formal drawings. It waits in line for 1 to 3 years before examination begins, starts a negotiation with the examiner that can take sometimes months, if not years. Hopefully the application is allowed and then will issue as a patent. So this is going to be about the actual examination process related to non-provisional patent applications. The other alternative is filing a provisional patent application, but provisional patent applications, they're great, but they're just a placeholder. They only last for 1 year and then they expire at the end of that year. So there's really no examination with provisional patent applications. That's why this is going to be all about non-provisional patent applications. The first thing you need to do with your non-provisional application, if you want to guarantee that it's going to be granted, is making sure that you have tons of detail about the invention. And that's one of the biggest problems that I see with, for instance, people transfer cases to me from other attorneys, or people do it themselves, is they have maybe a page or two of description, and that does not allow you to navigate around prior art rejections. So the biggest thing is you need to have tons of detail, talk about all the different variations, talk about it, like you were talking, to a sixth grader or something. Have extreme detail about the inventions, have a lot of drawings and things. The more that you have of that, the better chances are you're going to be able to navigate around the prior art that you're going to face during examination. And it's almost guaranteed that there's going to be prior art. There's always something out there that's going to be similar. And that's the thing about examination that people don't realize. They're saying, well, there's nothing exactly like what I have. So there's two standards, right? There's novelty, and then there's obviousness. And a lot of times, what you have is going to be novel. There's not going to be one single thing that is exactly like what you have. But the examiner then will say, oh, it's obvious. Hey, I could take this piece of prior art and this piece of prior art and I can combine them all and come to your invention. That's where the difficulty comes. And the way you navigate around those rejections is by having tons of description in the text and the drawings. That's the number one thing you need if you're going to set yourself up for success and guarantee that your patent application is going to be granted. All right, so the second thing you're going to want to have is you're going to want to have a really narrow first independent claim. You're probably asking me now, you're like, Dylan, what are you talking about? What are these claim things? A lot of people get confused about what claims are. So let's just kind of talk about the pieces of a patent application real quick to make sure we're on the same page. So I talked about the text. You have this really long written description. You're going to have drawings. And then for non-provisional patent applications, you're required to have what are called claims. And the claims define the metes and bounds of what is actually protected by the patent application. That's what a lot of people don't realize, is that it's not the drawings, it's not the description, it's these claims at the very end, these strangely worded single sentences, and usually there's going to be about 20 or so. And that's what the examination is all about. It's about the claims. That's what the examiner is going to have rejections about, and that's really how you make or break your examination. That's how you set it up for failure or how you set it up for success. So you start off with a broad independent claim, and let me explain what that is. Okay, so what I mean by a really narrow first independent claim is a claim that has a lot of detail. And I think that some patent attorneys, some folks kind of get it backwards. And yes, you want to have broad claims that cover a lot of different variations. But the way to set up patent examination for success is to have your initial first independent claim be really, really narrow and really specific and have a lot of elements in it. So I'll admit, this is one of those things that you should really not be doing yourself. This is why you need to engage a patent attorney, because drafting claims is a very, very difficult kind of thing. If you don't do it the right way, you're setting yourself up for failure, and it's not something that is intuitive. I mean, this is the value add that patent attorneys give. And let me give you my typical disclaimer with things like this. Okay, so, I'm not trying to get your business here. I'm not trying to, say, don't do it yourself, because I'm a patent attorney and obviously I'm biased. So what I'll say is, if you contact me wanting to work with me after watching this video, I will refuse to work with you out of principle. I'm trying to give you, the real insider way that we do these things, not trying to get your business. So really work with a patent attorney, and that's going to be the way that you're going to set yourself up for success. Okay, and you're going to want to tell your patent attorney to do these things. One is make sure that you have a lot of description in the, a lot of information in the text and in the drawings. The more that you have, the better. It may take a little extra time and it may have a little extra cost, but that's how you're going to set yourself up for success. Also, tell your patent attorney that you want a really narrow first independent claim. That triggers a really good prior art search, and it really expedites the patent process. Those are the things that are really important. So again, patent attorneys are going to be able to know how to do this, but you need to be able to know how to tell them to do these things. A lot of times, to be honest, patent attorneys, they want to make money by by having a long examination process and drawing it out and having it be slow, and that doesn't really benefit clients all that much, right? So you need to be able to ask, for what you need. And like I said, say, hey, I need a lot of description, and you can provide that yourself. If you can have a really detailed description that you can provide to the patent attorney, they can just add things to it. That's really helpful. But then tell them you want a really narrow first independent claim. So that's setting the application up for success, for efficient examination, and giving you the best chances that you're going to be able to get a granted patent. So next is the examination process. So you set it up for success, you have to then follow through, and that's doing the right things in the examination process. All right, so like I said, you file your non-provisional patent application, and then it's gonna wait in line at the United States Patent and Trademark Office for 1 to 3 years. And that's just because it's the government. Things are really slow. You're just waiting in a big, long line, and it takes a while. So after 1 to 3 years, a patent examiner is going to pick it up and is going to do a prior art search and is going to determine whether what you have claimed is new and non-obvious. Again, having that first really narrow independent claim, that's how you're going to get a really good initial prior art search, expedite examination. But the way the examination works is, think of it kind of like a negotiation. It's almost like Pawn Stars or American Pickers, where there's going to be a back and forth. That's how you're going to get sort of the best quote-unquote deal with your patent. So patents aren't just a binary thing where you have a patent or you don't. You could have one that is really broad that covers a lot of different variations, or you could have one that is so narrow and so specific that it's effectively worthless. And that's all about the negotiation of examination. That's how you get the broadest patent possible, once it goes through examination. It's that negotiation that is going to, make or break, the quality of your patent. So when examination finally begins, the first thing is to realize that there almost certainly are going to be rejections, and it's actually a positive part of the process. Something to be totally expected, it's natural. But it's how you handle those rejections and work with the examiner, that's what's really going to set you up for success. Now, one of the things that I think that is totally underutilized by folks, and something that can totally, make or break the process, is doing examiner interviews. And by that I mean is you can actually call the examiner on the phone, talk about the invention, talk about different proposed amendments or arguments to get over the prior rejections, and that is one of the best ways to expedite examination and get success. A lot of examiners, they actually want to help you. You look at the rejections in the office action, and they seem scary and they seem mean, and people are intimidated by examiners. But the examiners, they're not attorneys. They're just folks with a technical background, engineers and scientists, folks like that. And they're not litigious people. They don't want to fight with you typically. Every once in a while there are examiners who are like that, but a lot of times they want to help you. So, the best thing that you can do is tell your patent attorney to have examiner interviews and have it be friendly, have it be a collaborative thing. Propose potential amendments to overcome the rejections. Take the time to explain the invention to the examiner. That's one of the secrets that I think that people don't use enough. And part of it is because, it costs a little bit more money. It's going to be more attorney time to prepare for these interviews. But if you do examiner interviews, you're gonna get success a lot faster. I mean, a lot is lost in the office action in terms of, you know, what people are trying to get across as far as the examiners. And then in the responses that you have to file, they can be really formal, and it's, you know, it seems like it's, you know, really negative and confrontational, but really, you know, a friendly phone call with the examiner, they say, oh, hey, you know, I was noticing this one thing. If you make this one amendment, then it's totally gonna be allowable. You know, there's some points of novelty here. I think we're really close. And all it takes is a quick phone call. So again, that's another thing. You just need to be able to tell your patent attorney what to do, and that's one of the things that a lot of people don't know to ask for, and that sometimes patent attorneys don't want to do it because it costs more money, and it's something that they'd rather just, you know, do a lot of written office actions, and maybe it makes them uncomfortable or something. But again, that's one really great way to expedite the examination process, and something that will, you know, a lot of times that's how you break through, that's how you get an application unstuck and take it from being rejected to it being allowed. So in addition to having interviews with the examiner and trying to make the examiner your ally instead of an enemy, you having that really narrow first independent claim is really going to serve you well during examination. It's going to trigger a good prior art search, and it really is going to teach the examiner what the invention is. A lot of times they don't have time to read things and to fully understand it, and having a first claim, that's typically all they're really going to look at, it helps them understand what the invention is and where the points of novelty are. Okay, and earlier I was talking about, okay, you can have broad or narrow patents, and the ones that are really broad that cover a lot of things, those are the really valuable patents. Well then, so why would you want to have a really narrow first independent claim? Isn't that kind of worthless? Well, yes and no. So yes, narrow claims aren't as valuable, but that's why you have different sets of claims. And again, this is something that is kind of more advanced. You should talk with your patent attorney about it, but understand that it's what I call the wedge strategy. So you have this first really narrow, specific first independent claim, but then you'll have other claims that are a lot broader. And just like the tip of the spear is able to kind of, you know, insert itself into something, this initial narrow claim, that's what paves the way and makes it easier to get the broader claims allowed. And that's one of the secrets that a lot of people don't know about. They're just gonna battle it out, and they're gonna go in with these really difficult claims, and you're gonna have to go back and forth multiple times with the examiner with these office actions. It's cost you thousands upon thousands upon thousands of dollars, and it's gonna take years and years and years unnecessarily. All you have to do is set it up correctly, and that's gonna set you up for success. Now, one of the things you may have noticed that I haven't talked about is prior art searching, and you would think that doing patent or prior art searching would be something that would be essential to success in the patent application process. And counterintuitively, that's not the case. Prior art searching, very, very rarely done. I mean, I would say I do it maybe one in, I don't know, like, you know, 1 in 100 cases, honestly. It's very rare that we actually do prior art searching. Because I can get a sense of what the issues are going to be. And again, it's usually not an issue of whether you're going to get a patent or not. It's a question of how broad or narrow the patent is going to be. That's usually the issue. So taking all this time to do prior art searching, you know, there's not good return on investment for that. You're going to spend a ton of money and really a lot of times not really get much actionable information. And that's why prior art searching is really not something that helps set you up for success. A lot of it is having, you know, it just, like I said, having a really detailed description, having that first narrow independent claim, and working with a trusted patent attorney and being able to tell them what to do, saying, hey, during examination, you know, let's be aggressive with our amendments. Let's try to expedite this instead of like just dragging it out. And the only person who really wins there is your patent attorney by getting more and more money, and it takes more time for you. So that's why working with a trusted patent attorney is really essential with this. So if you got some value out of this video, be sure to give it a like. I'd really appreciate it. And subscribe to the channel as well if you want more content about patents and startups and how to succeed. Hit the little bell icon as well so you don't miss any important videos. And check out this video here. This is one about the patent examination process. And here is one about the best patent strategy you should have. So thanks again for watching. We will see you again in the next video.